insane to make me healthy. Thank you.
I know you're sure. Sure.
So this is where all the sheet metal went.
That's crazy.
What is that?
I think it's because we were talking about. So we have to wait for the air handling unit to shut down before I can let you in there. There's somebody who likes to stick their fingers in the foot now. But anyways, while we're waiting, I'll just go through a few things. So like Kelly says, this is actually, even though you have this nice big fancy air handling unit, they do come in different sizes. This happens to be a nice big one that we can walk in and out, so you can kind of see what each section kind of does. So what you're hearing right is the pneumatics. So basically the DP switches are releasing the air, so my dampers will close now because it's cold outside and we don't want the cold air going to the air handling unit. So that's one of the kind of features of when an equipment is shut down, it's automatically going to close position to stop the cold air from coming in. Okay, so like she was saying, this is part of even this room that you're standing in is part of the air handling unit because it's the return side. So obviously, like you can see, we have these three shafts right here that the return air is coming back from, and they also behind these two plates, one here and one over there on the far side. So the atrium is on that side of the wall. So you have to picture it like this. This is my supply duct right here, which is coming from going through, flying the air, goes down, goes to each floor, down the hallways, goes into each room, comes out of the diffuser. Okay? So the air is then pushed into the room. So then obviously we're pumping all that air into the room, we have to return it. So in the corners of those rooms, you would see little white grates. So we're supplying the air into the room, it goes above the grates, goes into to the wall where you would see it actually what we call a fire damper. We'll go through the fire damper to the next classroom, to the next classroom, to eventually come to this shaft, which then it gets sucked back into the shaft. So this is actually the return side of your air handling unit. Okay, so this is where we get our. So typically, I would say this room usually hovers around about 22, 23 degrees all the time. Okay. This is what we call the control of this piece of equipment that we have behind us. This is Johnson Controls medicine system. This is the Stangrad, where it is the last of pneumatics. Any of the newer buildings like Aldred and Johnson Cobb is 100% electronic. There is no pneumatics in that building at all. So the only difference is they have these EP switches, which is send the signal to send air to the dampers, control the dampers. So it's just control the dampers pneumatically and the actuators for the glycol and the cooling. This box here, if I wanted to go into it, I can take a look at the list, push on the buttons, it would tell me all types of information. What am I supplying for temperature? What am I returning for temperature? What is my static pressure which is usually the best way to have it is positive, because when people coming in and out of the doors, obviously you just want that little bit of air coming out so you're not blowing the cold air into the building. Same as in the summertime as well. Just when they open up the door, you don't want the dust coming in where you want that air to push out. So you always want to try and keep the building at a positive. But you don't want to have it too positive where the doors are staying open all the time, right? So that's one of the things. And I'm not saying that every building is the same, because they're not. It just depends on how they're engineered and programmed as to how much static pressure is needed for that particular building. This one here is 325 PA. We always like to have it positive. So take for instance the Senator Burns. As much as we try to make that building positive, it just doesn't work. There is always negative in that building, because I have 7 air handling units trying to keep that building going, and they're all fighting each other, and it wasn't built that way because it used to be this tower and 2 wings, and then they've added this and added this and added this, so it's made it hard to keep that building positive. But the majority of the rest of the buildings are actually pretty good, except for all grid. I'm not sure why that is still negative, but it's just the way it is. So I think it's because of the welding shops, and they suck so much air out of the building that we can't keep it positive. So that's why. And that's the other thing is when the engineers are engineering all this stuff, that they're taking into consideration how much exhaust system is being used in that building. So, I mean, if it's just like this one, Stalingrad, where it's just classrooms and offices, there is no labs here or nothing. So it's easier to keep it positive going because I don't have too many exhaust systems. But when you got all good, there is lots of exhaust systems in that building. So it's hard to keep it building positive. Quickly, I just want to kind of go, I'd like to say, as a building operator, the idea behind the building operator is because it used to be this control panel, and it would be about the size of this wall. And then it would have the dials and the readings and the controls, and you actually sat here and you controlled the building from that control panel, and that was an actual building operator's job. But somebody invented computers. So now we're building operators for that many buildings, because the computer can now run the building, because we don't have to sit here. So and eventually the computers are just run the buildings, we don't have to have any operators. Why are you doing this for a job? Oh, no. There's always equipment that needs repairs.
Same thing with pilots. Most of the time the pilot probably can find you still need a pilot when the computer fails.
Exactly. Anyways, it's still a great job though. I love it. So don't get me wrong, so we've gone from this to this. Right now, what the size of this in your calculus. Because all it is just a box, a whole shitload of wires, and that box is controlling everything that's inside that room. So it's just getting smaller and smaller. It keeps getting better and better. So wait a minute, it's the same way, okay, we can control the temperatures, where the computer controls the temperature, we just give it a set point and he keeps it at that set point. Well, now with the newer automation, it's getting better and better all the time, it's now a calculated set point. So we don't even have to look at that, it just automatically calculates everything for us, for how much pressure is in the building, for how much more we need to add, on this or that, same with the temperature, based on how much the temperature is outside, and how much heating we need to add to the building, trying to keep the building comfortable as possible. So, am I a fan of calculated set points? No, I'd rather have just set points. I like to see 16, and that's why I want to keep it at 16. You know, I mean, if I decided it's going to be 35 degrees for the next week, I'll put it down to 15. If I know it's going to be minus 30 outside for the next week, I'll put it up to 17. That's me controlling it, not them. And I just like, that's just me though. Yeah. All right, yeah, honey, you need to shut off now so we can go inside. So, people, what you have? John.